Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tech Informist. This is episode 41, recorded live on Friday, March the 6th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell, and I'm also joined today by good friend and co-host JJ Hammond. JJ, how are you?
I've got two guns, one for each of you.
There we go. Everybody, if you have never watched Tombstone, do it. Just do it. It'll definitely be something that you put in a regular playlist for movies.
For sure.
It's a classic.
The
20,
one-liners in that movie alone
it's a
are worth
20,
watching.
22-year-old classic, man. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton. You gotta love it. You just gotta love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Tech Informist is a show intended to help inform you, the listener or the viewer, about the world of technology. We love talking about technology. We love helping educate and inform you with lively commentary. We're not going to try to be really boring and Charlie Brown teacher style. We're not going to be just a show full of negativity. We'll give some negative comments about companies and services as needed, obviously, because not everybody does everything good all the time. Not everything is awesome, as the Lego Movie would like to tell you. So we just try to have fun with this, and we hope everybody enjoys our fun and lively commentary and enjoys the show. So if you would like to get involved with the show, you can always visit us at thetechinformist.com/live to join the chat room. Good morning, chat room. Glad to see everybody here today. Welcome back. And you can also see our upcoming schedule of episodes. Typically, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So come on out and watch live. Join in the chat room. I see we've got Lee. Welcome, Lee. That's a new name to the chat room as well. We've got Raul and Vernon, guest 519 and guest 280. Myself and JJ
Right.
also in here as well. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and also later before we end the show, as mentioned before the last 2 weeks, our giveaway of the Sensi Wi-Fi smart thermostat. The contest is over, and we will be choosing the winner live on air. We'll be doing a screen share so everybody can see the winner be drawn. So if you're listening to this later, if you want the visual proof, you'll be able to check out the video on our website as well once the post is all put together and published. So, JJ, I believe your story is first as we move into the news of the day.
Yeah, so I decided to want to go first here, and before I get into this too far, there's a podcast that I listen to, and I just crack up. Now, it's not meant for everybody, but for those of you who are into this sort of thing, Dangerously Smart. It's a local podcast. They'd be the first to tell you that they go off on tangents. They try to do some type of flow, but I laugh when I listen to them. They're just really great, and actually I learn stuff. I mean, Kevin and I do a really good job, and but these guys also do a really good job talking about gaming, mostly entertainment and some technology news as well. So check them out. They're a Dangerously Smart podcast. It's good times, man. But well, I'll go first with the first story at the end of this crazy week of news stories. And let's be honest, this week was filled with a whole bunch of stories. So this story is sort of political, but I can't not talk about it because it's kind of a security issue, and it kind of brings this more important and talk about what secure email is, what our own email and others, emails that are stashed on servers and kept forever. Kevin and I were talking about this before the show about, unfortunately, the revenge porn and all this other kind of stuff, what it would be like to have this constant reminder of mistakes that you've made in the past or whatever. I think, this story kind of does a really good job of talking about specifically our previous Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Okay, why this is kind of a big deal and why it's such a security issue. For a Secretary of State, running your own email server might be clever, if controversial, way to keep your conversations hidden from journalists and the Freedom of Information Act, but ask a few security experts, and the consensus is that it's not a very smart way to keep those conversations hidden from hackers. Now, what we learned over the last couple of days was the fact that she kept Hillary Clinton kept her own private server at one of her homes. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on this because I don't want to put anybody to sleep, but it was hosted at clintonemail.com. I mean, that is the most that is the most non like kind of secure like you think somebody would already have owned that .com, right, Kevin, with all the different .coms that are out there, right?
Yeah.
So what was your
Yeah.
thought on so she has this, so she's Secretary of State, arguably one of the most important government jobs that exist. What's the first thing that pops in your head of when you think about a server sitting in one of her houses somewhere that all this, you know, very classified stuff is rolling through?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of funny, when you're talking about hosting the email at clintonemail.com. It just makes me think, well, she's of that generation where she uses technology, but is not like, I don't want to like insult intelligence or something like that, but doesn't use it smart and in a way to help protect them. So, I mean, you're just throwing up a big red flag by naming it clintonemail.com. But
How is that not so in technology there's something called crawlers. So there are these machines that look for certain things depending on who wants that thing to look for other things, right? So for example, a guy accidentally threw up his passwords to his database uh, up on GitHub, which is a very popular repository for um, I think I said that right, but it's a very popular site in which coders put some of their open source code. He accidentally threw up like the keys for 60 seconds, and a crawler picked it up and data mined his entire. And then he ended up owing like $2,000. You think a bot of some kind would have found ClintonEmail.com, you know?
yeah, you would have thought that.
So
I
that's why I
mean,
brought this story up, is because it really represents a kind of a disconnect. So this story for me had several different aspects to it. Okay, the first thing was older people still haven't figured out the internet, and more important, older people in politics, people who control certain thing, um, are no longer have a disconnect, right? And I think that speaks to what you were talking about, Kevin, is this kind of this old school way of doing things, because they're like, you know what, I know you're talking to me and I know you're saying words and syllables that are strung together in what I would call a sentence, but I don't understand. We've
right.
spent too much time in the story. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, so I believe that's one of mine. And as we all know, this coming Monday, March the 9th, not only do we have episode 42 of the Tech Informist, but Apple is also doing their Spring Forward event, which most are expecting them to announce or officially unveil pricing and release date details on the upcoming Apple Watch. Which, if you haven't looked at a news feed or anything like that today, there's Apple Watch stories out the wazoo being posted like crazy right now. And there's also estimates, so some people are guessing that they're going to sell, approximately 2 million of these things within the first month of going on sale. Very possible. I'm sure they will sell as many as they can make available to people, because it's going to be a very hot item. I'm sure the eBay scalpers are going to be having a heyday. I mean, as is always the case with the new Apple release, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad, you'll have people that just sit in line and wait and wait, and as soon as they get it, they turn around and sell it to somebody for double the cost. Just, 'cause, I mean, people that's got money don't have time to sit in line like other people do, and well, capitalism, as they like to say. So, also, Apple is reportedly set to include USB 3.0 ports on a kind of a 12.9-inch iPad Pro that they're looking at releasing in the not too distant future, probably later this year. So that'll be more like a Surface competitor, a nice lightweight, ultra portable device that can do a lot of things for people on the go. Because I mean, it's one thing to use an iPad with an external Bluetooth keyboard or something like that, but to use something in the way of a Surface, it's a whole new experience. just having everything all built together, working seamlessly with no issues. And then there's also a higher res 12-inch MacBook Air in the works as well. So, I mean, everybody knows the 11 and 13-inch current MacBook Airs are, super light, ultra portable, great battery life, just, solid little devices. So we're looking at getting a whole bunch of information next week. So
Okay.
looking forward to that. I'll probably be doing if things work out well. If timing, depending on the time of the show, we might start a little earlier, we might start a little later, but always just make sure to check the techinformist.com/live page and see if we're going to change the start time or not to kind of like live blog and cover this event.
So when is this again? So it's on Monday?
Yeah, it's this coming
Okay.
Monday for sure. If I want to pull up the calendar and double check, because I know I added it to the calendar.
Okay.
And
Yeah, okay.
the time that I've got down for it is noon Central Time. So actually, it's like right as soon as the show ends is when it's going to be beginning over at apple.com/live. So
Yeah. So we'll maybe, if we get enough response, maybe if you guys in the chat room or you guys online or whatever, people who listen to it later, if you guys want to see us kind of having a chat about it or live stream or I don't know, something. Are you up for that, Kevin, to see what our
we
listeners
might
want
just
us to do?
keep the live chat from episode 42 just going and move that
Yeah.
straight into the Apple event.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So that's exciting. I think So am I up or no?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you're. Why so serious?
Why so serious? Our beloved tech companies are keeping. I know. The reason why I put that why so serious is because the last two stories. Well, the first one and this one is a little bit serious, and I don't like that too much. But whatever. Our beloved tech companies are keeping money from us. Sad face. The reason why I bring this up is the U.S. tech companies. Well, U.S. tech companies rather, not the companies, have stashed over $420 billion overseas. I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. It's no secret that the U.S. government wants companies to bring more of their offshore profits back home for the sake of taxes alone, and it's no exception, clearly, as to why. Bloomberg, it's now exceptionally clear as to why. Okay, Bloomberg has sifted through financial filings and discovered that the top 8 American tech firms, Apple, Google, Microsoft, are keeping more than $420 billion overseas, $69 billion of it added in just the past year alone. That's over a fifth of the $2.1 trillion held abroad by American companies. Holy what the...
It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. And would easily cover a lot of government expenses. Well, duh. A tax, on Microsoft's profits alone would be $29.6 billion. Now, this is, oh my God, so much money. Would cover NASA, the Commerce Department. Apple's $23 billion would take care of Transportation Department and Social Security.
Oh, Social Security, hot topic.
Oracle could foot the bill for the Labor Department. Holy crap. The reasoning for this creative accounting is the same as always. These companies don't want to pay the full U.S. corporate tax rate, including reparational taxes, when they know that they are they can easily shuffle that money elsewhere and shell it out for much less. It may be tough to keep this income out of the states forever, though. While President Obama didn't have much luck this year with a measure that would slap taxes on both past and ongoing foreign earnings, he's continuing to talk with executives in hopes of reaching a compromise. It's hard to imagine officials simply walking away from a huge potential revenue source. Well, yeah, when you can fund Social Security, the Labor Department, Transportation, and NASA.
Yeah.
With arguably the tech companies who would benefit, I would think, from having those departments and things be, sustainable. I don't know. This is one of those things, like, I don't want to talk about politics. I'm not going to. So take politics out of it. Wouldn't it be great to, I don't know, help old people and, like, people who are on disability, like just all this kind of, and transportation. I would like not to hit a pothole every other 5 seconds when I'm driving. You know?
Yeah, it'd actually be crazy for United States companies to pay their taxes.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
Kevin pays taxes. I pay. We all pay taxes. You know, it's like, why don't? I mean, I'm sure that they pay their fair share, and let's not get into a whole argument about taxes. But I mean, that's
yeah,
a lot of money.
but
You
it's
know?
the same tax rate everybody else is, and you're not
Yeah.
getting penalized just because you make more. It's just because you're percent. Well, yeah,
I know.
it's
Yeah, this is one of those topics where fanboys of ecosystems and fanboys of technology and fangirls and stuff, they're just like, oh, it's really hard to look at Microsoft, who I'm fan of, and say, yeah, you did a great job raising a couple million for charities, but you're holding $29 billion
yeah. You've got
outside the U.S.
you've got a pocket full of aces sitting while you're sitting
Yeah,
at the
that's a
card
good way
table.
to look at it. I didn't think you had a pocket full of aces instead of this crap.
Right,
A pair of twos ain't gonna cut it. It's
right.
pocket full of aces. Okay,
Yeah,
I like that. This should be the name of the show. Pocket full of aces.
you've got a deck full of aces just sitting in your pocket that you can pull in with any hand to possibly win. But
Yeah, I love that. No, and just think about the infrastructure for broadband. Kevin recently went to this broadband thing about fiber and stuff like that. I mean, just think if all of that money could be funneled into that sort of stuff, right?
oh yeah, yeah, to help build out the
Money makes the world go round.
expand and the whole backbone of everything.
So what can we do about it? I'm curious to hear from our audience. What can we do about it? Uh, I'm just curious. So you're up, Kevin.
All right, so I know I've been talking a lot about soft card the last few episodes, and
Well,
recently,
rightfully so. Mobile payments are going to be a big deal.
right, and we mentioned the fact that since Google has purchased soft card, they were basically immediately going to be shutting it down for Windows Phone. Well, now it looks like it's just going to be killed off permanently entirely. As of March 31st, Google has announced confirmation of SoftCard's demise follows major news last month when Google announced the deal with three of the four major U.S. carriers that will result in Google Wallet being preloaded onto future Android smartphones. So just as the way that carriers were preloading SoftCard on your phone, now you're going to be having no choice but to get your device with Google Wallet pre-installed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So this story kind of goes back, right? Like you said, a couple episodes, but it also goes back to this idea of the carriers wanting to have say so in mobile payments, right? Or I'm sorry, but devices that are made, devices used as credit cards. Like they wanted to get a cut, right? That's how that works.
yeah,
So Square and other readers like that, they yeah, there's a profit to be had. I don't know if you remember, Kevin, a time when you would go in and Discover wasn't like Discover Card and American Express wasn't carried by some because the locations had to pay separately to have that stuff supported. Do you remember that?
yeah, it's like separate things like that.
Like we accept MasterCard and Visa, but you're just like, well, I have a Discover card or
Yeah,
whatever.
like, well, then you can't use it to shop here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you're telling me you don't want my money? But they're like, no, seriously. Or you remember the issue when you had to spend more than like $3.54 or some ridiculous
Yeah, there was
arbitrary
a
number?
minimum because
Yeah.
the credit card transaction fee was costing the the retailer money. If somebody just goes in there buys, I just want to buy a candy bar or just buy a soda. They're like, it costs us more to swipe this than
Right. They're like,
what you're buying. We're
I'm
losing money
sorry.
by you
Yeah,
buying
yeah,
just that.
yeah, exactly. Because it's like per transaction they charged or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like that with. So take what we just said and then apply that to carriers. Carriers don't want to become, which they're quickly becoming because of Apple, not a part of the equation, and that scares the crap out of them,
Hmm.
especially with the net neutrality rules, right? So that's going to be really interesting going forward. Okay, up next, because Kevin thought that this show was going to go a lot faster than what it's going.
Right.
I'm tired of. Wait even no, that's not my story. That's
That's
Kevin's story.
mine. That's one of mine.
Oh, go Kevin, go, go,
Yes. All
go,
right.
go,
So
go.
yesterday, Microsoft announced that the new preview for Office 2016 for Mac users is available.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long time because the previous version is Office 2011. So, we're looking at five, six, plenty of time, like 4 or 5 years of the same version of Office for Mac users. And even when I was at Micro Center the other day, I heard a guy, in the Apple department, a customer, he was like, "Is this the latest version of Mac?" And it says 2011. Is that the latest version? And the guy's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, that's the latest one as of right now." So it was
Mm-hmm.
funny that, a couple days later, here's, the preview. The preview is available for free, and I installed it on my Mac. And since I've got an Office 365, account, I will get the update whenever it is fully released, which is expected to be this summer. But so far, so good. It's working well. I'm so glad that they've updated the icons because the Office 2011 on Mac icons were just terrible. I'm like, who came up with this? Big fat kind of balloony letters. I'm like, seriously, who designed this? It was just absolutely terrible. But
Yeah.
now it looks more traditional, like it's more uniform across the platforms.
Mhm.
Works well, very clean, and I would say it's darn near final as is, just the way that it works and looks and functions. So I'm looking forward to getting the full-fledged, the final release once it comes out. But anybody can go to the link and get it. We'll put that in the show notes. But if for some reason you want it now, it's products.office.com/en-us/Mac/Mac-preview and give Office 2016 a try. Which again, it's kind of funny that they're doing it on Mac first before they roll it out on Windows devices. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So one of the things that, and by the way, if you want to know if a story's worth a crap, it's awesome that we have a chat room because like you can tell if they're just like commenting on the story or talking about something else, you know, and that's kind of representative of the audience, I think, a little bit.
Right.
But so Raul, man, Raul's on it, dude. That dude's awesome. Thank you, everybody who's in the chat, by the way. So speaking of Office for Mac, here's what I want the rest of our listeners who aren't in the chat room. This needed to so this idea of a unified design. I see the long game strategy for Microsoft, and it makes sense to me. I mean, when Kevin, you shot me a picture, I think Facebook Messenger, of what it looks like now on your MacBook,
Hmm.
what it looks like, on the screen. That looks uniform, right? Like uniformity, and that makes sense,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we don't live in a world where people, we live in a world where people have an Android phone, a Windows laptop, and maybe an iPad or something, right? Like we live in a multi-ecosystem world where most families and most people have, a different range of devices, and this is where what we deal with.
Yep.
So having a similar design scheme makes sense to me. And I've been wondering for the longest time, I've been listening to other shows, and if you listen to Paul Thurrott, and lately, without Mary Jo to balance him out, he's very like, it's the death of everything Windows. But when looking at this stuff, it makes sense, and they got HoloLens coming out, Microsoft does. They've got the new version of Windows running everywhere, Xbox, a uniform design language and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, this is really the only way to go. And you know what? If you can make people, like they said, love Windows again, even if they're not using Windows on Windows, does that make sense? Like, even if they're using, people still equate Office with Windows. That's not going to stop, even if you're using it on Mac, right? So if they can convince people that, hey, you're going to like our products even on other services, so that your next purchase may be a 4K or 8K resolution Windows operating system instead of a Mac operating system, right?
Right.
That
Now,
possibility exists.
yeah. Now, Leanne was saying, it'd be nice to be able to see some, you know, images of what Office 2016 will look like. So let's just do that. So as you
Oh
can
my
see,
God, screen share.
yeah, so if you're looking at my screen right now, you've got your Excel icon here is the new, new Excel, new Outlook, new PowerPoint, Word, and we'll just go ahead and open up PowerPoint, for example. And there you should be able to start seeing that now. We'll open up blank, just do a blank presentation. And you can kind of see this is what PowerPoint looks like now with just, your standard appearance. And it's very similar to, I mean, I can't really pull it up on my Windows PC at the moment because, well, I'm
Well,
on a Mac. But
well, for our audio listeners, let me just kind of chime in real quick. It looks just like, I mean, it really does look just like the version on Windows right now,
Mhm.
just with the Apple. Um, it used to be Chrome design. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Like, did they call that skeuomorphic? I can't remember.
I'm
But
not sure.
but it's just very kind of that plain gray apple gray. Can I say that apple? Yeah, that
Sure.
apple gray look in the top. So in the top, it's just that apple gray look.
All right. So, here's
Yeah, and like Google Slides, it's like taking Excel and that, like so Apple, what is that called? It's called like Keynote or something like that.
yeah, I can pull that up as
Yeah,
well.
there's a lot of similarities, but it makes sense.
Go back to Launchpad. You've got Numbers, which is Excel right here.
Oh, numbers. That's it. Yeah.
Keynote is PowerPoint, and
Keynote.
then let's see, Pages is Word, I believe. Yeah. And obviously I got Final Cut Pro there. Got my OneNote. Don't really have a whole lot of stuff installed on here just yet. GarageBand and some of the other stuff. But no, hopefully that helps you guys and
Nice.
a little something different.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that was really slick, Kevin.
Yeah,
You haven't said slick in a long time.
yeah, it has been a
I'm
while.
bringing that back. I'm bringing that back. That
Bringing
was
Slick back.
yeah, that was an oldie, but it was a goodie.
It's a
Um,
really goodie. That's right.
so
What
I'm
about the
up finally.
sideboard
Jesus.
roach? Let's see what this is all about.
All right. So for people who give a crap about science and stuff like that, we are the Tech Informist, and tech covers a broad range of stuff. But cyborg cockroaches now are more reliable than ever. Like if they were ever not reliable, whatever. 60% of the time they turn the right way every time. Does that make sense? Okay. Designing an inch-long robot is tricky. There are a lot of small moving parts, and it's hard to get a tiny enough battery that can still power the entire system. Instead of designing a whole new robot body, scientists at Texas A&M University instead hijacked an existing efficient form, cockroaches. Using an implant that plugs into a cockroach's nervous system, they were able to steer the cockroach in the correct direction 60% of the time. Now that doesn't sound very like a good, that's like just a hair above 50%, but that's actually kind of cool. The bug-sized backpack contains a battery for power and delivers electrical impulses precisely to a nervous cluster responsible for moving the roach's front legs when triggered, and the front legs to one side falls out of steps the other legs, and the cockroaches pivot in that direction. Here's what's creepy about this, that they're actually able to do this. Now, I got to be honest, I hate cockroaches, so if I
God,
can
who doesn't?
if I can make them, well, there's people who like insects, and
Yeah,
those people are freaking weird. Um,
it's definitely
all
different.
right, I'm not trying to alienate people, but there was a kid in one of my classes that was obsessed with praying mantises, and it was really cute to watch him attack the girls and stuff with like different stuff. I didn't,
Yeah.
and they let the kid, I think the kid has Asperger's or something like that, but he was like always like he always had a different exotic praying mantis in class, but whatever. So if
Yeah.
there was ever a good use for a cockroach, this is it. So how cool is this, guys? We're able to hack and put a GPS sensor, a compass, accelerometer, all this stuff into the backpack. That's pretty cool. Also, we can see this as possibly being for search and rescue, to get these sorts of things into crevices and cracks and different stuff like that. Say for when Haiti had that earthquake and there was some people trapped underneath all the concrete. So I like this idea. This is neat, and I'm going to be paying attention to stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it up to Popular Science for coming up with a post like this. So
yeah, or Texas A&M for being able to do what they've done.
Right, to do this. Yeah. So.
All right, Kevin, take us into some rock.
All right, so Rock Band 4 is going to be touring to a city near you coming later this year, to an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. And one of the coolest things about this is the fact that all your previously purchased music, a lot of people downloaded a whole bunch of songs off the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live stores and stuff, so you'll be able to use all those songs along with your previous instruments. So if you've got instruments from the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360, you will be able to use those as well. You can go to rockband.com/pre-order to sign up for a special pre-order mailing list. And let's see, it will support all your previously purchased downloadable content. They're beyond thrilled to finally announce Rock Band 4 and be sharing more about the game as the months roll on. So this is going to be a more later 2015 release, but I don't know. I'm very excited to have this back out, because the only Rock Band game we still have, actually I think we have a couple of them available on our 360, and then I've got Rock Band Beatles for my PlayStation 3. And a fairly new guitar. I've only probably played about 15 hours, so.
Nice. Only?
Looking
Loser.
forward to it. I know, it's terrible.
You suck at life.
I just remember playing the AC/DC version of Rock Band and doing the drums.
Yeah.
My God, my leg was killing me after me and a friend played through the entire disc.
Yeah, it's fun.
But God, being a drummer's tough, and when I go see live music, I always pay attention and definitely admire the drummers, because it's like, man, you're just sitting back there just wailing away with your leg up and down, and keeping the beat and doing all this other stuff. It's like, man, drummers, that's a very cool talent to have.
Yeah, it is. It really is, and it's really good, right? Like when a drummer does something cool and you played it in Rock Band or whatever, and then you hear it like on a track, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, wow, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was listening to the Dangerously Smart guys, and what was interesting to me is they primarily listened to hip hop before, and they weren't introduced to any other kind of music. And I think what's cool about Rock Band in the past, and then hopefully going into the future, is it keeps this idea of more people being interested in a variety of music, not just rock, but just a variety of music. And then it opens up that world of being able to experience more music on a different level, right?
Yes.
So that's what's cool about it, I think, for the most part. So that's exciting. So that's really cool. So the next thing that I want to talk about, if we're ready to move on, is again, privacy security. I'm your man. So, interesting story. Black Phone 2. Out of Mobile World Congress, one of the more interesting things was sort of a lack of the security talk, but then all of a sudden, boom, I saw this, and I was like, okay, cool. There's nothing worse than getting hacked. Anybody at Sony can say that for an estimated $1 million, which, dude, there's no way that they lost just $1 million in that malicious hack, by the way. But that's what Sony is saying, so I'll take them at their word. Silent Circle, a company founded by internet security legend Phil Zimmerman, wants to bring those types of hacks to a halt. The company's solution, an end-to-end service that starts with an ultra-secure smartphone, the Black Phone 2. Now, many of you may know of the original Black Phone, was introduced, I want to say a year or so ago, and it was hacked, because nobody, as soon as you advertise, hey, I got the most secure phone in the world, every hacker that's worth his or her salt is going to be like, I'm going to try to break into this thing. So there was a crack into it, and or there was a way into it, and they addressed that with an update. But they wanted to push forward. They wanted to make another phone, the Black Phone 2. Now, it does support some kind of interesting features, man. It's a 3 gigahertz processor. Let's see. I don't know if there was any. There's some more stats on this, but if you can just think a 5.5-inch display, full HD, it's nice phone, whatever. But this new one says that it's heralded in as an NSA proof, which is that's a big statement. Discovered that no one can escape the NSA, but it's a second generation device that looks and feels more high end than the original version. It's not very aesthetically pleasing, but it gets the job done as far as, in your hand. The phone runs on a modified version of Android called Private OS, just without the E, Private OS, which means that it's compatible with all Android apps, which is interesting to me because most Android apps ask for your soul when you install it, right? I mean, we want access to your photos, your location, your this, your that, the list goes on and on and on. So the company is able to secure calls, text, and contacts using its own app called Silent Phone, Silent Text, and Silent Contacts, respectively. The apps can be downloaded in the Google Play Store, and they're available to anyone with a standard Android for sending and receiving encrypted messages. One of the new features on Black Phone 2 is the ability to create different spaces, quote unquote, which are essentially different user profiles on the operating system. The phone is able to virtualize a new operating system with each new space, meaning that each account is completely isolated. It's as though you're running an entirely different phone when you switch between users. Although the standard version of Android can already create different and several logins, the virtualization that occurs on Black Phone is much more secure and unique to Private OS. Along with its advertised security, the operating system is also incredibly easy for people to navigate the control. The security settings on the phone allow users to manage the type of information coming and going from every single app, breaking down data into categories such as contacts, location, and more. And the devices, if the device is ever lost, don't fret, it can be remotely wiped. The Black Phone 2 is especially great for IT professionals to use because of the Silent Circles device management system. In essence, IT professionals can edit smartphone permissions, such as apps you can download in bulk. They also make it easy to distribute different permissions sets using QR codes. That means that IT pros can have employees set up their phones by simply scanning a code. That's interesting, right? To ensure the Black Phone 2 always remains safe, the company has a bounty program in place that will pay any hacker $128 for finding small bugs, and the Black Phone costs right around $650 and is available now. Kevin, what do you have to say about all of this? I mean, there's a lot of different aspects to this idea of running Android securely and managing it from, kind of an IT perspective.
It's very interesting. I know they're going to keep making these devices, trying to be the one company that can actually come up with something that's super secure. I mean, everybody always thinks of BlackBerry as one of the more secure devices. So for $650, I believe it was, or the original Black Phone, the Black Phone 2, I guess it doesn't really say when it'll be available, but
not yet. As soon as it does, though, I'll be the first one to tell you guys.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. Pretty interesting stuff.
If I was going to get an Android, which I'm not, to use as my primary daily driver, but if I was going to, I would want to mess around with this one first. Just saying. Just saying.
I will let you move into the apps and entertainment picks there, sir.
Oh, wait. We have an update. Raul did ask us a question on Wednesday, and about Samsung Pay and Apple Pay and different stuff like that and how it's used. I just want to have a quick little rundown here. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't know about the privacy and secure element beyond the fact that Samsung is supplied with a secure element from a German manufacturer called Infineon. Okay, based on previous reports, we know that the Infineon chips are built with hardware-based security mechanisms, but we don't know what those mechanisms are just yet. The device access is equally important. So Samsung Pay safeguards access to your mobile wallet by requiring a fingerprint for each transaction. So far, fingerprint scanning is the most secure way to prevent unwanted device access. But this is different than Apple Pay, which I think me and you, Kevin, we both share our concerns about Apple Pay, or excuse me, Android Pay, because it allows developers to kind of whitelist access to the wallet version or to the wallet on Android, right?
Hmm.
So I'm concerned with that because that kind of opens up some security risks there. So I just wanted to throw that in. When we have more information, we will report on it as accordingly.
I think we need to get you a new flip phone for your birthday,
Why?
so you don't have to worry about privacy and stuff like that.
Oh no, the flip phones are like one of the most easy to hack into. So, um,
Yeah, but you
Mario
don't have to worry
Brothers.
about your information, your personal information, safe.
Not so much. App and
Still.
entertainment picks. So Mario Bros is an emulator for Windows 8.1. Your bosses are gonna hate me now. I promise this because it is like an exact replica of the original Mario Brothers game, and it will totally keep you entertained. I promise. It's gorgeous.
Fun stuff. I mean, who doesn't love Super Mario Brothers?
Not this, not anyone that's cool. All right, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about movies. Recently, just a couple days ago, they released another trailer for the new Avengers Age of Ultron movie, and it looks phenomenal. Each one has looked phenomenal, and that is definitely something JJ and I will be going and seeing when it first opens. As soon as it
Hmm.
opens, that day we will be there. So,
Kevin's taking me out on a date.
yeah, funny guy right there. So also there's going to be an Avengers marathon with all like the Thor movies, the Captain Americas, the most recent Hulk movie with Edward Norton playing Bruce Banner and the Hulk as well, and a couple other ones with 11 movies spread out over 29 hours, not 24, 29 hours. So that would be a crazy marathon. I don't know if I could, but if I did want to, I'd want to go to one of these AMC theaters with these nice big plush red reclining chairs and press a little button and the person comes over and takes your order and brings your food right to you. That's how I could handle a marathon like that. So
Yeah,
really
exactly.
looking forward to
Yeah,
May. And
yeah.
it's only a little over a month and a half away. So it'll be here before we know it.
I I don't want to be a year older, Kevin.
It's coming, man. It's on its way. Well, hey, heck, my birthday's before
JJ,
yours.
it's dressing like the black. Why do you assume I would dress like a girl?
Oh, roll.
Oh
That's
wait,
funny.
because you're taking me. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah. No, that's fine. I could rock that. I could rock anything, dude. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I kind of got a better understanding from because when the original Age of Ultron trailer came out, I was like, why is the Hulk and Iron Man fighting? But now I kind of have a little bit more of an understanding of why
Yeah,
that might be the case.
now things make more sense, and especially
Mhm.
even these robots and stuff like that. It all makes a lot more sense. So we'll go ahead and move into our drawing. That
Yes.
time is here, and I'm gonna hop back over to the wonderful Hangout screen share function as again. We'll do an entire screen. We'll maximize this as well. Move that out of the way. Get this a little bit larger. And here we are at Rafflecopter. So as you can see, the contest ended a day ago. We had nice handful of entries there. We'll go ahead and over here to the pick a winner. And this is again for the Cincy Wi-Fi thermostat. And we will be doing the pick right now just by simply clicking this add a random winner. Press that. Let's do a thing. And Nils. So Tech Nils, you're not watching live today, but hey, you have won. So
You have one.
yes, so
Yeah.
I'll be contacting you to get a shipping address, and it looks like we'll be shipping it overseas to Germany.
Right. I hope it works over there, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So I will be contacting you. Thank you for entering, and thank you everybody else for entering as well. We'll be doing more giveaways over the next coming months, hopefully, as we get more and more things in. So
Well, we're gonna do another thermostat giveaway too.
yeah, we might do that in another month or so. So thank you all for entering. We'll go ahead
Heck
and
yeah.
stop the share, get back to the normal stuff. And JJ, do you have anything else you'd like to add in this wonderful episode as we wrap up this week?
Just looking forward to next week. I think I think we're gonna have a lot of really cool stuff to talk about next week, and I think that this week was kind of crazy, but I think we did a really good job, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. We say every show, thank you to the chat room, thank you to our listeners and stuff, but it really just again, it just doesn't do you all justice. So thank you so much. Really means a lot that you guys are here. Um, and you support the show in one way or another. So thank
Yes.
you,
Yeah,
and
thank you,
we'll be seeing you guys
Raul,
again soon.
Vernon, Leanne, everybody, and everybody that watches this after the fact, everybody that listens after the fact. Thank you for joining. And so from that, we will go ahead and close up shop here. And everybody, go ahead. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harbell. JJ, they can find you at JJ Hammond Music. You can find us on Twitter at Tech Informist, Facebook, Google Plus, Instagram as well. As mentioned before, thank you everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and that does it for this episode. And until next time, consider yourself informed. We are out.
Hmm.